Does that make sense? Okay. All right, same with female. Female, just because of our body size is different than man, we usually don't have as much muscle mass, okay? So the female is just going to be 11 blocks. Same type of concept that instead of the 4 block meals, usually females just need 3 block meals, okay? So you're going to do, each meal is going to have 3 blocks of protein, 3 blocks of carbs, 3 blocks of fat. And you're still going to do the 2 1-block snacks. And when I talk about snacks, Zone says basically that a meal should keep you full for at least 4 hours. If it doesn't keep you full for 4 hours, then you need to increase your blocks. So if a woman, like for me, if I eat a 3-block meal, that would not keep me full for 4 hours. So I noticed that for me, because of my muscle mass, I have to have a 4-block meal. I have a 4-block meal, I would say maybe 7:30 in the morning during the week, maybe 8 o'clock. And I'll be hungry at noon. So that's a good estimate. They say every about 4 to 6 hours. I always go 4 hours. So that's where the snacks come in. Because sometimes if you eat lunch at noon, say you're working and eat lunch at noon, supper may not be scheduled till 6 o'clock. That's why they recommend an afternoon snack. Because you might be hungry at 4 p.m. Okay? They never want you to go past that 4 to 6 hour window, because then you're not keeping your metabolism going during the day. Okay, so that's kind of where you want to judge. So I basically always start people off with these average, and then we just see how hungry are they getting. So, yes.
And it depends on like the type of carbs you eat. I read an article where a girl did 11 blocks, and she said she was absolutely starving because she was hungry like an hour and a half later.
Yeah, and I'll go through that in a minute. Remember when I said that this zone diet is cool because you can have French fries if you want French fries? Well, 3 blocks, if you had your 3 blocks of carbs in the meal, that equals 15 French fries. And that's all the carbs you can have in the whole meal. You can't have any fruit, you can't have any vegetables, you can't have anything else. So if that fills you up for 4 hours, be my guest, you'll still lose weight doing that. For me, I would be hungry 2 hours later, but I can't eat more. Because now I'm eating way over what I should, and I'm not going to lose weight. So if you pick, we'll look at the zone blocks in a minute, but if you pick good carbohydrates to eat, I promise you won't be hungry. This is where we're going to the zone block charts. You guys have copies of that. Okay? We have it up here, right? And the zone block charts, you guys, they are stapled together for you. It actually goes in columns. So what you would have to do, let me grab one for myself. So for instance, it goes in columns like this. Okay? So I don't want you to get mixed up, by, like the eggs should be under the fish and seafood, which is still protein, and then it goes with your greens. So you might, when you get home, you might want to just, put it in order like this.
Right on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's kind of start bottom. See, and they kind of already talked about what's here. And it keeps coming in my mind. I had a nutrition class in college, and I didn't understand it at the time, but my professor was like, eggs are the best thing you can eat. Eggs. And when I'm getting the zone diet, now I'm thinking about it, I need to write him and tell him he's exactly right. But because it's a really, really good source of protein that's very low calorie. And he said, and I didn't realize at the time, but if you take a unit of protein, a unit of carbs, and a unit of fat, do you know that the protein and the fat only has 4 calories per unit, but the carbs have 9 calories per unit? So that's just interesting that he was right. So anyway, protein sources. As you can see in your list, it'll always say what the best choices are. The best choices, low in saturated fat. And it gives you all. So 1 block of beef is 1 ounce. So if you're a female and you want to have your 3-block meal, you're going to have 3 ounces of beef. I don't really worry about that too much. It's really hard to get around Coldwater, Branch County, so I'm not, just go to the grocery store, that's okay. So chicken breast. I know a lot of people like chicken breast. If you're a 3-block person, you're going to have 3 ounces of chicken breast. If you're a 4-block cups, and you will need like a weigh scale. Just so you get a feel of how much is. I never weigh anything anymore. I know exactly pretty much how much things are. It probably took me, doing it consistently, maybe a month to figure out what things were. You know approximately when you look at a meat how much it's going to weigh. And if you're a little off, when you pick these best choices, it gives you leeway. If you're a little off, that's okay. Even if you're a little off on your fruits and vegetables, you're okay. It's still going to work just fine. So, anyways, you can scan through the whole list of the proteins, okay? Here's where it started, the carbohydrates. In the next column, it says best choice. When it says low density, that means it's low glycemic index. Okay, that means it is not going to spike your sugar like all the other ones are. So it's important that you pick as much as possible from these low density, but it's okay to pick from the other ones too. You will still lose weight. My brother-in-law, Lance, Megan's husband, who's filming us right now, he did his own diet. I don't remember, Megan, do you remember how much weight he lost?
I don't know. He lost he lost like 20 and a lot of inches.
Yeah, lots of inches around his belly, 20 pounds. And he wasn't like super obese to begin with, but he had some belly fat that he wanted to lose. I think he did it for what, 6 weeks?
Yep.
Did it
Strict.
for 6 weeks. How long?
Strict.
Pretty strict, yeah, pretty strict. But do you know that he hates vegetables? Lots of fruit. So do you know when he did this, if you look at your list, first of all, he thought it was too much food. He couldn't almost put it all in. It was just too much for him to eat. But he picked everything from pretty much the unfavorable list, the one that says not the best choices. And he still lost 20 pounds and lots of inches around his belly. Yes.
So you said, a little bit ago, you said that 3 blocks of French fries was 15, so 1 block would be 5. So I could
Yes.
choose between, if I want to get full, I could choose between 5 French fries or 3 cooked cups of broccoli.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's,
Here's what I'm gonna tell you.
so that's why from there you would not be hungry.
Right. Because 1 block of broccoli is 3 cups. Okay, have you guys ever measured 3 cups of broccoli? It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, so.
And that's only 1 block.
And that's only 1 block. So if you're supposed to have 4 blocks in your meal,
That's a lot.
okay, don't choose all broccoli. I don't think anybody wants to sit there and eat 12 cups of broccoli, okay? So you really have to divide it up. And to be honest with you, I got that. There was a point in time where I got kind of lazy and just kept having broccoli. I got really burnt out on broccoli. So, what I recommend, 2-3 cups is a lot. So what I recommend is say, okay, let's have a cup and a half of broccoli. That's a pretty decent okay. That's just a half a block, and let's mix other things in. You always want to include fruit in your meal because fruit, like for instance, can you scroll down to some fruits? Fruits. Okay, so you could have a whole apple. A whole apple would be 1 block. Excuse me, half an apple is half a block. So if you have a whole apple in your meal, that's already 2 blocks. So if you have like the 3 cups of broccoli and then the apple, that's all your carbs per meal, and that will keep you really, really full. Now I do want to let you know, in a package, a regular package of broccoli, yeah, I can eat a whole package by myself, and that's 1 block. Like frozen broccoli, you know, that you put in the microwave. So I just want to let you know that. A little bit, they talk about eggs here. There's also vegetarian ways, guys. If people are into the protein powder, it talks about that.
What's that? What is that acid? What is that? That starts with H. What is that? I've never heard of that before.
That's related to cholesterol and inflammation and stuff. So this is not a great choice.
You will
Because of the cholesterol in the low
eggs
eggs. I don't think you'll see that much on the labels. No, it's just they have a star here because it has increased amounts of that, which will cause inflammation. So they say don't eat a lot of whole eggs just because of the cholesterol involved. I eat them every day, so I don't know. I don't think they're as bad as, I mean, my numbers are fantastic, cholesterol, so, you know. Good question though. So if you want to look at the fruits, guys, here's the fruits that are kind of low GI, okay? And it's the black, I've noticed strawberries, you can have a whole cup for a block. So if you buy one of those cartons at Meijer of fresh strawberries, that's about 2 blocks. So maybe, you know those, that's, because about half of it's about a cup. I'm guessing. I don't know if I've ever actually measured that. now this is interesting. I have oatmeal almost every day for breakfast. That is one grain that is okay to have. That's the one grain that has a low glycemic index, is oatmeal. But it has to be the slow cooking kind. It can't be the instant or the quick cook. It has to be the old fashioned oats. But that actually, and that's the one grain, and barley. I've never done anything with barley, so I don't really know much about that. But that is a low GI, so.
Barley is really barley is a
Chill out.
beef and barley.
So, yeah, so that actually,
I like barley.
the oatmeal and the barley, that is, yeah, that actually is considered a low glycemic index. It's a good choice. But if you look down here, the high density carbohydrates, okay, the high density means it has a high glycemic index, okay? So these are the things: carrot, pretty high sugar content, acorn squash, beets, and like I said, corn, of course, but that's more of like a starch. See, French fries, here's French fries. You can have 5 for 1 block. So if you want to have them, I promise you'll still lose weight as long as you stick to 12. That's for 1 block. So if you want to have a 3 block meal, you can have 15 French fries in your meals. But so of course, and I'm not saying you should never have any of this stuff, but you just have to know, like, for instance, peas. You know how hardly anything half a peas is? And that's 1 block. So if you choose from this list, you may get hungry because that's not very much like a banana. You know, you can have a half an apple, which is a pretty good serving an apple for a block. You can only have 1/3 of a banana. So if you think about it, that's, you know, because it's a high glycemic index, it's really going to shoot your blood sugar up, which is going to get stored as fat because your body's not going to use it. We are not active enough to use all the carbohydrates that are always advertised to us, you know. So anyways, this is just to kind of go through. These were the fats on this side. If you want to, here's the poor choices in fats. The poor choices means it's high in saturated fat. So you can still have these things. The best choices, avocado, excellent. You can actually, 1 tablespoon is 1 block. You can actually have quite a bit of avocado. And that's 3 tablespoons is quite a bit of avocado, you know. And usually that's used, you know, and then cashews, almonds.
Yeah.
Basically what they recommend to,
That's like a tea.
One packet.
That's like more than you can't do it.
so it's okay. Yes, you do.
Oh.
You do, but sometimes it ends up in the bottom of the pan, so it's okay to sprinkle a little bit over stuff too. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's okay to cook in olive oil, you guys. Olive oil, sesame seed oil, peanut oil, you know, that's fine.
All ounces of block.
Yes.
Yes.
Black fat. You know, zone also, if people are ones like, they don't want to measure, they don't want to get used to this, if you take your plate, 1/3 of your plate should be meat, the other 2/3 should be mostly vegetables, a little fruit, with a little drizzle of olive oil or a little sprinkling of nuts. So that's kind of a basic, yes.
Are you going to talk about performance and increase in fat?
So, I mean, you guys have the list there. Is there any questions you guys have about this? I mean, is this all making sense? Okay.
Ooh, alcohol.
Yes, for those of you guys who drink wine, 4 ounces is a lot.
I got it.
So that's okay. I would recommend if you do drink wine that you don't eat any fruit with your meal. Make that like the fruit part of your meal.
Oh.
So,
Grapes. Doable.
I don't understand. It's going in my mind. You say 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, so everything essentially has 9 blocks of 1 meal, is that?
yeah, because you're gonna have 3 blocks of protein, 3 blocks of carbs, and 3 blocks of fat. And they call that a 3-block meal. Even though we're fixing 9 blocks, it's just 3 of everything.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I'm gonna have you practice making meals up
Okay.
in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I got it. Yes.
So I guess I came expecting it would be a lifestyle eating, but you had mentioned about losing weight, and I'm very interested in that, but
extra right away because you're eating less, then when you get to a weight you want, then you have to start judging, okay, am I hungry, am I not? How is it? You might have to then, once you've lost the weight you want, you might have to increase maybe your blocks a little bit. But as long as you're eating good quality, that's not gonna make you gain weight. It might be adjusting, yeah. Like when I first started, I was strictly 3 blocks. And now I'm definitely 4 block meals. So it's definitely adjustment. But until you're pretty lean, it's gonna be a while before you actually increase it.
Do you know anything about like ketosis and your body going into ketosis and that's what, okay? Because I actually lost 116 pounds, but to maintain it off, to have it be a lifestyle Atkins diet, it's
No.
not a lifestyle.
And you know-
So I was trying to understand.
And you know why it's not a lifestyle? Because you can't eat fruit. You know, you can't eat fruit, it's hard to go out to eat.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I always say like this, if God made it naturally sweet,
Right.
like the banana,
Right.
use that as an
Right.
example.
Right.
You can't, I couldn't eat any of those
Exactly.
things.
And that's why I like this over the Atkins, is because this is more of a lifestyle you can live with.
Yeah.
Because you can have the fruits. Like, now you can't eat a whole banana. I mean, you could, if the banana is what you want that day, that would basically, one banana would be your carb for the meal. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You know what I mean? So, but if you really want to have a little bit of banana and something else, that's fine too. So, really, the bottom line with this, where you lose weight and maintain, is because you're always going to be having that low glycemic index carb, and it's never going to get stored as fat. You know? Because it's so low sugar. Because even those fruits that I listed, you can still have the fruits, just pick the good ones, you know?
Right, the strawberries,
Yes.
that are low
Yeah.
sugar.
And like I said, you can have mango, just try to adhere to how much you can have. Yes.
I think the difference, or something that I've seen, is that Atkins is a diet where it plays a hormone game, and it tries to, you know, take your body into that ketosis, so that you know, and that works to drop the weight. Where Atkins, rather than playing a hormone trick, it
The zone
balances
diet?
it, or zone. It balances the hormones, which then makes it that lifestyle, because not only is it good for weight loss, but it's good for all of those things you listed because of the balance of the hormones. So to have these things go in, you aren't having an insulin spike, or, you know, with ketosis, what you're doing is you're having this high protein, which causes the pancreas to do the opposite, release glucagon, which then goes in and has to use as that. So it's a game that it plays. Where this, I think, keeps everything balanced, and it maintains a healthy lifestyle.
And the reason why you go into ketosis, and I don't know if anyone ever explained that to you, is because there's actually 0 carbs. And you're burning
Pretty much
protein.
20.
Yeah, you're burning protein for your fuel. Well, your body prefers the carbohydrate for its fuel. So now it has to adjust to burning the protein, which the byproduct of burning protein is that ketosis. That's why, you know, I don't know if you know this, but your breath might smell different, your body smells different, you know, because you don't have any carbs. Whereas this one is letting you have the carbs, but they're just the low glycemic ones. So, I mean, and your body's still going to be using protein and stuff to burn, because that's what you're eating that of too, but it's not to the extent of the Atkins. And that's why it's more, like he said, it's more of a balance, and you're able to maintain it. So,
Yeah, I think it's really screwed up my metabolism.
it may have.
Yeah.
And you're constantly on it, off it, because you can't really stay on it for your life, you know? So.
Interesting.
All right, so just a resource for you guys can go to zonediet.com. This is a free site. I encourage everyone to register because it has so many great resources, so many great recipes, so you never get burnt out. Couple things here. We took a shot of like just the home page. Here's where you register. Up at the top it says register. All it's going to want is your name, set up your name, email, and password. Okay? So that's just your login. So I encourage that. And then I think the next slide is tools. So once you get registered, you have access under this tools tab. You have access to all this. So that quick start guide that I gave you guys with all the zone blocks and stuff on, I think that's on there. I think that's under Zone Classic. One big one, if you guys want to know exactly how many blocks you should eat, you're going to click the body fat calculator, which he's going to show you in a second. This, you put in your measurements. It has directions. Like women, you'll measure your hips at the widest point, your waist. Men will measure their wrist. Anyways, measure your height. Put in all these things. Activity factor, I want to touch on that real quick. Anyone in here who works out 3 days a week, CrossFit or no CrossFit, whatever you do, if you work out 3 days a week, I would pick moderate, okay? I would pick light, okay? That's important because that'll kind of take your activity, and that's something that probably will help you as well, and that's why you maintain, because your activity might change, or now you've lost weight, so now you're gonna go back in after you've lost a lot of weight and reprogram stuff and see what it says, as far as how many blocks to eat, okay? So anyways, does anyone have any questions about what they would pick? Okay. So I think we can go back to tools, and I just wanna, can you go back a slide where tools was? Zone recipes, that's key. Tons of awesome good recipes, tons. The restaurant reviews, they haven't reviewed every restaurant, but if you type in a restaurant, sometimes they'll tell you what to get there. So if you want to go out to eat, get online real quick, type in the restaurant and see what they suggest. Okay? Tons of stuff. I can pretty much go to any restaurant and get something. You know? I mean, maybe not tailgaters, but they might have a salad. But anyway, so dining out tips. I did give you the sheet. I did print that out for you, the dining out tips. And that just gives you kind of an idea of what to get, what you're in the mood for. I think it was Chinese, Mexican. I love Zone Diet because really it's a good lifestyle. I mean, you can get anything. And when you are making your meals, look at those labels. I mean, you can figure out how, like I make a chili recipe that I just made myself and I know exactly how many blocks is in it. Because I've taken all the ingredients, I added all the carbs together, I added all the protein together. I even, it takes kind of a while when you first decide to do it because then you have to know how much is in your big pot and then you have to divvy it out into 1 cup servings. Divide it all up. I'm really weird about that stuff. So anyway, so when I make a big pot of chili, I know that 1 cup is like, I can have 2 cups and it's about a 4-block meal. So anyways, and we're going to start posting on our website and stuff. I think we're going to start posting Zone recipes for everybody. Maybe once a week, have a recipe on there or something. So, and I'll get my chili recipe back on there, and I made this Zone lasagna the other day. Of course, I didn't have the noodles in it, but it was eggplant, zucchini. Robbie knows, I had it at work. Tomato sauce, meat. You know, it was really good. Cheese. So, it was good. It was good. So, I think, is that all my slides? Yep. So, any questions right now? We still have a couple minutes, and I was going to have you guys actually, no questions, I was going to have you guys actually go through the zone blocks. I want you guys to either work together, work by yourself, develop a day of what you would eat. Oh, and the other handout I gave you are sample meals. CrossFit actually put that out. I took that from the CrossFit site, or our level